Assalamu alaikum and welcome to yet another session. Today we're going to talk about literature reviews. So although it is debatable कि literature review एक method, research method है या नहीं, depending upon who you ask, लेकिन nevertheless इसकी importance को deny नहीं किया जा सकता because no matter what type of research you're doing in whatever field you're doing it, literature review form the cornerstone of your study. See, as they say, you need to stand on the shoulder of the giant in order to see what's going on. The literature review allow you to do that. So let's dig in and see what literature reviews are or how they're conducted. So basically, we'll be talking about literature review hota kya hai, and we'll also be talking about इसकी significance kya hai, why it is so important. And we'll be talking about वो कौन से steps हैं. Since being a research student you need to do a literature review systematically, so we'll see what we should be expecting कौन कौन से steps हैं, and we should be following those steps in order to carry out a literature review in the manner that it should be carried out. And by the end of this session you should be able to know you should be able to be in a position you will be able to conduct your own literature review of your own research topic. So normally a research student does not know that once he has carried out his research at an MS level or even at a PhD level, so if he or she has done his or her literature review in a systematic manner, so the literature review alone can constitute one study that is publishable. So and not only that, wo jo published literature hai uska impact is comparatively more if a single study is conducted using other research methods that are available. Or wo impact hai in terms of knowledge and in terms of citations. See, this literature reviews jo publish hote hain, they're going to garner much more citations compared to a simple study जो कि other research methods के through की जा रही है. Because see this, whoever is researching in the field, he might want to know what is the state of the art in that field, and if there is a literature review available, there are high chances that researcher will find that literature review and he or she will be citing that literature review in his or her own study. So all the more reasons literature review jo publish ho jaye uski impact in terms of citations comparatively to a single study zyada hai. And the other impact is in terms of knowledge. So after doing the literature review and publishing your results, a science student or a research student is in a position he knows the breadth of what's going on in his or her field, and he also knows if that literature review is done in a manner that synthesizes information, depth of a particular element in that topic would he or she can reach that depth as well. So impact in terms of knowledge and in terms of citation for a literature review, if done properly, is greater. I was able to publish multiple literature reviews in my area of research. Or अगर देखा जाए तो the citations that are garnered for literature reviews when combined together वो उन सबसे ज़्यादा हैं तो जो कि मैंने simple studies की हैं. So I might have 2 to 3 literature reviews done, लेकिन अगर उनकी combine या even एक single literature review की अगर आप citation देखें जाकर तो those citations are greater than मेरी बाकी simple जो studies हैं उन सब की combined citations. So this is the impact that we're talking about, and if you do it properly, you can have that too. So let's talk about some of the terms that we should be knowing in order to know कि literature review क्या है. तो उसमें number 1 है review. So as the name show, it review है. That means you have to go and do it again, which is viewing. So the Cambridge Dictionary says that कि review का मतलब है to think or talk about something again. And why do you want to do that? Why do you want to talk about something or think about something again? So that you can make changes to whatever that is already present. And you do so to make a decision about it. The review आप तभी करोगे अगर you need to know कि what's out there, और उसकी बेसिस के ऊपर आपने कोई डिसीजन करनी है. इसी तरह broadly speaking, Wikipedia says that कि review is an evaluation of a publication. या publication को evaluate करो, किसी service को या company को, या फिर movies, video game, musical composition, books, whatever there is. If you are going to evaluate that, तो उसको review करते हैं. So that brings us to the definition of the literature review. Not the definition, but understanding of what a literature review might be. So a literature review is a search and evaluation of the available literature in your subject or the chosen area. So overall, literature review क्या है कि आप अपने area में जाकर search करेंगे whatever is out there, right? So in such a way कि you gather maximum possible literature on that. Or फिर after gathering that information, you need to evaluate that information to understand your topic or your subject or your area of research. So literature review is a critical analysis of literature on a particular topic. So this critical analysis, जो कि highlighted in red, that is the backbone of a literature review. Literature review तभी आपको फायदा देगा when you critically analyze the literature, in order to find out कि लोगों ने क्या किया हुआ है, और what are the gaps that have been left out, या वो कौन सी चीजें हैं जो रह गई हैं and that need to be filled out, and so that you can pursue those gaps, and you can find out, and you can contextualize, or you can put what you're going to do in the perspective, in the larger perspective of what other people have been doing in your area of research. So it's an assessment of the literature, and it provides a summary, classification, comparison, and evaluation. Though it's much more than just jotting down what people have done. You need to assess कि उन्होंने क्या काम किया, कैसे काम किया, and at the end of the day, expect that कि literature review के आखिर में you should have a critical summary of the literature. ये summary वो वाली summary नहीं है कि आपने summarize कर दिया, बल्कि critique है in a way कि आप summarize करें literature को, or you'll be classifying the information that is present, that is available on the topic. Yeah, you're comparing different aspects of your research topic, or you're evaluating it. So that means literature review will contain 4 steps. Number 1, you need to survey the literature, find out whatever that is present on the academic journals or conferences, electronic databases, and then you need to critically analyze the information gathered. वहाँ से आपने survey करके information gather की, और वो information आपने critically analyze करनी है, and then after critical analysis of your literature, you need to synthesize it. See this, in order to bring about some novelty, you need to synthesize it. Maybe you need to make a framework out of the information that is available. Maybe you need to classify the information that is present there that is available on your topic. Yeah, maybe you need to form taxonomy of the of different terms of your area of research, if it's a new one. And after synthesizing the information, you need to present that literature in an organized way. So normally, being a research student, जो मैंने देखा है, जो MS level पे specifically student research करते हैं, and when they write their literature review, they do these 2 parts. That is, they do survey and they present the literature in some form of organized manner. Lekin what is missed out from those reviews is critical analysis and the synthesis. और यही 2 parts हैं जो कि literature review का, what you can call it, it's the backbone, or it's the meat of the literature review. All right, so that brings us to understanding कि literature review क्या नहीं है. And normally a research student जो है ना, उसको समझ लेता है कि अगर ये चीज़ें कर दी हैं तो ये लिटरेचर रिव्यू, ऑल्दो वो लिटरेचर रिव्यू नहीं होता. सो अ लिटरेचर रिव्यू इज नॉट a straightforward summary of everything you've read on the topic. See, there's evaluation is an important aspect of a literature review. अगर आपने evaluate नहीं किया है, आपने उसको critically analyze नहीं किया है, तो you cannot put into perspective कि जो research आप करने जा रहे हो या आपका जो research objective है वो कहाँ fall करता है, या or maybe कि जो आपका literature आपका जो research objective है, is it worthwhile कि वो आपका objective हो भी या नहीं हो. So a straightforward summary of the literature will not give you that insights about the importance of your research objective. Or more importantly, a straightforward summary of everything that you read on the topic and you consider it as a literature review will not give you the gaps that are available on the literature. जो कि as a research student you should be knowing. And what it is not, it's not a chronological description of what was discovered in your field. So normally what research students at an MS level fall into is that कि वो कहते हैं कि chronologically describe कर देंगे जी 2015 में एक study हुई थी उसने ऐसे किया था, फिर 2016 में एक study हुई उसने ऐसे किया, and so on and so forth. So chronological order does not really guarantee कि you come across a research gap or you may be able to find out कि आपके research area के अंदर क्या हो रहा है in a systematic manner. And certainly it is not an annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliography क्या होती है कि you write down the information about the study, where it was published, who the authors were, and in what year it was published, where it was published, and then you put your own annotations against it. Case study में ये हुआ था, author से ये देखा, and you summarize that. So to know about what an annotated bibliography is, you can see an example of this. Carl Cook Collaborative Software Engineering and Annotated Bibliography. So that will tell, this is an annotated bibliography. It is not a literature review. Aapka literature review, if it looks like that, it is not going to constitute a literature review. So let's have a look at the annotated bibliography. So just मैंने आपको पहले बताया, you just write down the information of the study जो आपके literature review में शामिल है. For instance, you hear these are the name of the authors और ये उसका title है Group Awareness and Distributed Software Development और कहाँ publish हुई है in a conference and when it was published in 2004. And after that, you just put your annotation. Okay, this paper leads an interesting discussion as to how distributed open source developers maintain awareness of other users and so on. So you summarize the whole paper. So this is what an annotated bibliography looks like. So if your literature review is something like that, and it doesn't have anything other than that, then it's not a literature review, it's an annotated bibliography. So let's have a look at one of the examples of a MS research student thesis जो कि लगता है कि literature review, but it is not. So a student was doing research on Scrum practices in Agile software development. तो उसने पहला एक paper पढ़ा and he or she summarized it कि ये reference है उसका and this study conducted an online survey that shows compliance of industry with XP and Scrum practices, and the survey results shows that a combination of methodologies is favored as approach as compared to using one methodology with all its practices. And they also found out that Agile practices and which combinations of Agile and Scrum practices are used most commonly by the industry practitioners. So this is summary of this work. फिर उन्होंने एक और स्टडी पढ़ी, this research student and he or she added it कि another study compared intended ways of proceeding with actual processes and practices of two polished Scrum teams, and using Scrum Guide as standard, they closely observed practices of both the teams. Amendments were made, and so on and so forth. और थोड़ा सा maybe over here they put on कि this study did not discuss whether these deviations from original methods have any positive or negative consequences. So overall, summarize कर दिया और maybe a little bit कि what was missing in there. इसी तरह एक और study पढ़ी and summarized it. So this is more or less an annotated bibliography, because the things that are missing in that is analysis nahi hua hua. And certainly you do not find any synthesis in it. This isn't synthesis. This is simply summarizing of the literature. All right, so there's another thing that you should be knowing about literature review. कि literature review की very different types होती हैं. They can be simple literature review, or they can be systematic literature reviews. So how systematic literature reviews are different from simple literature review is that systematic reviews are type of literature reviews that use systematic methods to collect the data. So they can one way of doing literature review is that you do not have a protocol, you do not plan properly, you do not systematically carry out that literature review, and as a result क्या है कि the repeatability of affect करती है. देखिए कोई सी भी research कर रहे हो, there should be a repeatability in it. That means other researchers, if they try to carry out the same research as you are, number one वो तो कर सकें कि enough information is present, and number two they should be arriving at अगर आपने सही तरीके से की है तो उनकी research और आपकी research में as such ज़्यादा differences नहीं होने चाहिए, right? If they follow the same procedure as you do. So जो normal literature review है वो ये lack करते हैं, that transparency lack करते हैं. But on the other hand, systematic literature review, they follow a proper protocol and proper documentation and a proper systematic procedure to collect that data. Not only do they do that, they critically appraise the research study, and they also synthesize findings either in a qualitative manner or in a quantitative manner. So qualitatively, if they form some sort of classification, or they form in the end they synthesize some form of themes on a topic, or quantitatively if they carry out some sort of meta-analysis. अगर उन्होंने quantitative studies अपने literature review में लिए हैं, तो they go on they synthesize that literature at yet another upper level, at a meta level, where वो सारी studies जो एक research topic के बारे में आपको एक quantification दे रही हैं, उसकी एक meta level के ऊपर जो है वो they synthesize that sort of information. So the systematic reviews, and they are designed to provide a complete exhaustive summary, not that in that sense कि जो एक MS student लेता है कि summarize कर दिया, summary in terms of current evidence जो कि synthesized है, and they answer a particular research question जो कि pose किया गया for carrying out that systematic review.